Welcome to MISUMI's new 19-minute webinar series. For those of you here that are new to MISUMI, MISUMI is a global supplier of configurable components. You may ask, why configurable? What is it? Configurable components solve the designer's dilemma. A designer has two choices for components, standard or custom. Standard components have limited selection and often force designers to compromise their designs. These many pluses, such as CAD, static part numbers, fast delivery, often seem inexpensive and convenient. The other choice is custom. Custom components have many drawbacks. Designers have to make the solid models themselves and all the manufacturing drawings. Purchasers too can attest to the long wait for quotes, the expensive setup charges for short runs, and the long lead times. We are forced to use custom components though, because of the flexibility. MISUMI offers Configurable, which is the best of both, easy and flexible. Configurable components are easy to design with and purchase. Online, select the product geometry desired, the material and surface finish, input the size for each configurable dimension within the range and increments shown. You'll get a smart part number, instant price and days to ship, and the CAD model. All of this configurability is available with our over 1 million components, available at MISUMIUSA.com. Now I'll turn it over to our MISUMI engineer.
Hi, my name is Mike Milligan, and I'm from the engineering department at MISUMI USA. In this webinar, I'll be giving an overview of MISUMI's gears. At MISUMI, gears fall under the umbrella of factory automation components. They are grouped in the power transmission section along with sprockets, pulleys, and conveyors, since they all help drive rotary systems. Now that you know where gears are found at MISUMI, let's start with a basic question. What are gears? Gears are toothed wheels that, when engaged with another gear, transfer rotary motion from the driving gear to the gear being driven. Different gear sizes can change the direction of rotation, torque, and speed of the system. At MISUMI, we offer 5 different types of gears: Spur, Helical, Bevel, Rack, and Worm. Even though MISUMI has several different types of gears, the pressure angle is always 20 degrees. The pressure angle is the angle between the tooth profile and radial line at the pitch circle. The pitch circle is a circle through the pitch point centered at the gear axis. All of MISUMI's gears use metric dimensions. Dimensions like pitch circle and bore size will always be in millimeters. MISUMI's gears follow the metric gear module system for gear sizing and compatibility. The gear module can be found by dividing the pitch diameter or diameter of the pitch circle by the number of teeth the gear has. It is important to make sure the gears you are using have the same module, otherwise they will not work together. 2 other important gear features to keep in mind when selecting gears are backlash and gear ratio. Backlash, also known as play, is the smallest amount of space between 2 non-driving teeth when the driving teeth are in contact. Backlash is not desirable in applications where rotation direction is changing. When the gears change direction, the backlash leads to an increased force on each tooth that can lead to unwanted wear and tear. The gear ratio is also important to consider when choosing the gears for your system. The larger the ratio between the gears, the greater the difference in gear speed and torque. Gear ratio is found by dividing the number of teeth in the gear being driven by the number of teeth in the driving gear. In this example, if gear A was driving the system, the gear ratio would be 4 to 7. If gear B was driving the system, the gear ratio would be 7:4. Now that you have a little bit of background information on gears, let's run through the gear selection process at MISUMI. In this example, we are going to be building a part number for a MISUMI Spur gear. The first variable to consider when selecting a Spur gear is the gear module. MISUMI has Spur gears in all of the modules listed below. For this example, we're going to choose a module of 2.0. The second step is to determine the type and size of bore you want. MISUMI has options for a straight bore with set screw taps, and a keyed bore with set screw taps. Bore sizes are available in 1 mm increments, and the size range depends on the number of teeth selected. It is important to note that the bore tolerance is H7 and the keyway follows the JIS standards. Our example gear is going to need a keyed bore with tap, and it will have a diameter of 14 millimeters, which is denoted as P = 14. The next step is to choose the material. It is important to note the materials shown are for our all-metal Spur gears. We will get into some alternative materials a little later. For this example, we're going to use 1045 carbon steel with black oxide coating. Now that we have our gear module, bore type, and material, we can start our part number. Part type GEAKBB 2.0 denotes all of our previous selections and is the beginning of our part number. Next, you should choose the number of teeth you want your gear to have. Remember, the number of teeth will affect the gear ratio. Our gear needs to have 20 teeth, which has now been added in red to our MISUMI part number. After selecting the number of teeth, you need to determine the width of the teeth shown as the B dimension in blue. For a module 2.0 Spur gear, the tooth width has to be 20 millimeters, which has been added to our part number. Next, we need to specify the gear shape we want. MISUMI has Spur gears in 3 different shapes: K, A, and B. The K-shape gear is a narrow gear that is ideal for applications where there is not a lot of vertical space. The A-shape gear is shown in profile and is similar to the B-shape gear. The only difference between the A-shape and the B-shape is that the B-shape gear has a hub for set screws. We are going to choose the B-shape gear for our example, and we have added it to our part number. The last piece to the part number is a dimension we have already specified. When we chose our bore type, we specified the diameter to be 14 millimeters. That bore diameter is specified in the part number as 14N, which will give us our completed part number, GEAKBB 2.0-20-20-B-14N. Now that you have a little bit of background information on gears and the selection process, we can get into the first type of gears MISUMI has to offer, the Spur gear. 2 advantages of the Spur gear are they are efficient and easy to assemble. Spur gears have straight teeth that are easy to align, and there is minimal power loss due to slippage. Some of the disadvantages of Spur gears are they are loud at high speeds, must be used in parallel, and they are not as strong as other gears. The noise at high speeds is due to the backlash and the instantaneous force the teeth of the gears experience when they first engage. The force can lead to wear and tear over time, which can decrease the efficiency of the gears. Spur gears can only engage properly if they are used in parallel due to their straight tooth profile and location of the bore. In the example on the right, 2 Spur gears are being used to slide a workpiece from the right to the left. MISUMI Spur gears offer many configurable options, but sometimes more options are needed. To help with that need, MISUMI offers a series of alterations. The tapped holes alteration allows you to change the thread size of the tapped set screw holes. This alteration is only available for B-shaped gears. The set screw alteration allows you to add another set screw hole at either 90 degrees or 120 degrees from the existing set screw hole. This allows you yet another point to secure your shaft. The both ends stepped alteration allows you to have a step on each side of your bore, and the stepped hole alteration allows you to select the end of the bore you want the step to come from. The side tapped, side through, and side slotted holes alterations allow you to add the hole type of your choice to the face of the gear. You can specify either 3 or 4 holes at the desired distance from the center of the gear. Sometimes the alterations don't provide enough options to satisfy your design's needs, which is why MISUMI has a more configurable spur gear option. The more configurable spur gear allows you to configure all the dimensions depicted in blue. Being able to configure the dimensions of your hub helps ensure your gear will fit into your application. MISUMI also has spur gears in a variety of other materials and sizes. MISUMI has both an MC nylon and polyacetal option with a metal sleeve. Plastic spur gears are useful in lightweight applications and applications where noise must be kept at a minimum. The bonded plastic spur gears offer a carbon steel core with MC nylon teeth. Similar to the plastic spur gear, the bonded plastic spur gear helps keep noise levels down. The bearing built-in gear type allows you to synchronize the direction of rotation between 2 opposing gears, as shown in the picture. Another special type of gear is the keyless spur gear. The keyless spur gear is available in 3 different types. The first type is the E-type. The E-type keyless spur gear has a similar shape to the A-type gear, but has a bushing fastened to the outside of the gear. The F-type gear has the same shape as the A-type gear, but with a bushing attached to the inside of the gear's width. Finally, the G-type keyless spur gear is similar to our B-type gear since they both have a hub. The G-type has a bushing attached to the outside of the gear. Another type of gear that MISUMI manufactures is the helical gear. Helical gears have a diagonal tooth profile which allows them to be quieter and smoother than spur gears since the teeth engage more gradually. Helical gears have the ability to be mounted in parallel or crossed. When the gears are crossed, you must select same-handed gears, both right or both left. Some of the disadvantages of helical gears are they are less efficient than spur gears due to tooth slippage. The diagonal profile of the teeth is what causes the slippage and also leads to axial thrust on the shaft. It is important to choose a bearing that can withstand the axial thrust generated by the gears. MISUMI offers 2 different types of bevel gears, straight type and spiral type. The straight type acts similarly to spur gears, while spiral type is similar to helical gears due to their similar tooth orientations. Simply put, straight tooth bevel gears will suffer from backlash and excessive noise, whereas the spiral type will be quieter but experience tooth slippage. Bevel gears are used for intersecting shafts and have a changeable operating angle due to their shape. Some of the disadvantages of bevel gears is they are difficult to assemble due to the changeable operating angle. The shafts also experience a large force, so like helical gears, it is important to ensure the bearing can withstand the force. MISUMI offers bevel gears with a 1:1 or 1:2 gear ratio as depicted. It is important to note that spiral bevel gears are only guaranteed to mesh with a gear from the same manufacturer and they should always be bought in pairs. Another type of gear MISUMI offers is the rack gear. MISUMI has rack gears in two different styles, the flat type and the round type. The advantages of rack gears are when paired with a spur gear or pinion, they can transfer rotary motion into linear motion. A disadvantage is they cannot run continuously since the rack will eventually end. Worm gears are composed of two pieces, the worm wheel and the worm gear. Worm gears are self-locking and quiet, but suffer from high power loss and high thrust load on the worm. Now that you have seen MISUMI's full lineup of gears, let's look at an application example provided by a customer as a case study. This application shows gears of different sizes turning rollers in a feeder assembly. As these spur gears turn, the rollers they are connected to do as well. The spinning rollers propel metal through the feeder and between the rollers controlled by our second set of spur gears. Note the idler spur gear positioned in the middle of these gears. That idler helps ensure all four gears are spinning at the same time. I'm now going to show you how to configure the spur gear we made earlier on the MISUMI USA website. Once inside our automation components, we know it was a rotary power transmission component. From here we can simply click on the gear icon and the spur gear icon. We know it had a module of 2.0. Once on this page, you're able to configure the rest of the dimensions on the left-hand side. It had a keyway shape, or it had a hole shape. The bore was a keyway with a tap, had black oxide coating, was a shape B, had a bore diameter of 14 millimeters, and had 20 teeth. You're now able to see the completed part number at the top of the page. If you click the orange price check button, you're able to see the price for quantity 1 and the days to ship.
Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's webinar. All of MISUMI's configurable components and 1 million products are available at www.misumiusa.com. If you are new to MISUMI, register for access to CAD downloads, online formal quotes and orders, and manage all of your account histories. For first-time companies purchasing, you can receive 30% off. Full support is also available. Technical help at engineering@misumiusa.com, customer service at Inquire, and your local account manager at Sales. Facebook now has our 19-minute video series available to view at your leisure. Connect with us to join the conversation and see exclusive content. Thank you again.